The Boys. I like this show. I like this show. This is one of my favorite shows ever, you know. Easily within like my top 5. And it's a good show. I like this show. Carl Urban is doing a great job. Anthony Starr is doing a great job. They're both terrible people, but they're terrible people at opposite ends of the spectrum. Giancarlo Esposito, he's in this episode. He's always good. He's always good. He's probably one of the top actors today, and definitely one of the top villains. He's everybody. Darth Maul, Bugging Out, Stan Edgar. He's he does everything. So they got a lot of talent in this. But this episode, Butcher finds out that there is a drug that can kill soups. So he's got to have it. He's got to have it. So he goes after it, and the only way he knows for sure he can get it is if they get a pardon and they release Stan Edgar, all 48 hours, Eddie Murphy, Nick Nolte style. They got to release him from jail. You help me, and we'll help you. And he's like, all right, okay, yeah, let's do it. And he helps them track down the superhero, the soup killer virus. And something happens in this episode. They find the compound where the compound is being made to kill soups. And Butcher has a worm in his body that is eventually going to explode through his body. We know that because it happens to a rabbit in there that was also infected the way he is. And he kills the rabbit, but something stuck out to me. They're doing experiments there, and they've got the temp fee, which is what he took. And with the temp fee, they're doing experiments. So I'm thinking maybe they're trying to figure out how to, because they gave it to the rabbit and it was clearly going to kill the rabbit. Maybe they were figuring out a way to come up with a cure for that. If so, then Butcher is potentially on his way to getting, cured. I don't know if they're going to cure him though. I mean, the comic book that this is based on had its run, and the run has ended. All the characters are dead. Well, almost all of the characters are dead. So eventually, they probably have one more season after this, and then they're going to kill off almost everybody. So a lot of people are probably going to die before this season ends. Maybe. Because this is based loosely off of the comic, but there's been some major changes in the show compared to the comic. Just like with True Blood was based off of the books, but they went off script and the show ended up being better than the books. Right now, The Boys is ending up better than the books. The turns that they made, the artistic license that they took, it's given a better show, in my opinion. So they find the virus killing stuff that they can kill soups with, and the guy tells them, it's got to be, you got to get the shot, and then it can be through saliva or blood transfusion or whatever kind of exchange of bodily fluids. And so they're like, okay, all right, okay. And then they get attacked by the animals that they were experimenting on at the compound. A bull, chickens, almost the rabbit, and sheep, terrorizing flying superpowered sheep. So that happens. Homelander's going crazy. In the comic, he went crazy because he was being pushed to insanity. In this one, he's just kind of crazy. He's just going more and more crazy the more the show goes. And he's clearly being manipulated by Sister Sage, or just Sage. She doesn't like the sister. And Sister Sage is their smart one. Like I said before, she's like their Lex Luthor. And she's manipulating everybody. She doesn't have any superpowers. Almost every suit has a certain level of invulnerability and a certain level of super strength. A-Train, his primary power is super speed, but he put a bunch of trains, had them coupled up together, got a chain, and he started pulling them, to strengthen his legs. And so, I mean, they're strong. They're all real strong. But Sister Sage does not appear to have superhuman strength. It's just her brain. She says that most humans' brains stop growing at 25. But she says her brain never stops growing. So that's why she's, so smart and able to retain so much information and so forth. Seems like it would crack through her skull if it just never stopped aging, never stopped growing. But, it doesn't. So something else I wondered about Sister Sage. She's the smartest person on the planet. So that means she's smarter than anybody that's made great inventions, smarter than anybody that's, done anything artistically, anybody that's in any particular industry that would gain them a large amount of disposable cash. She's smarter than all of them. But she was living in a very timid, very modest home with hundreds of books scattered everywhere in her house. And it was kind of unkept. Seems like somebody who's the smartest person on the planet wouldn't live like that. But then again, maybe she's smart and she wasn't motivated. Because it seemed like when Homelander approached her, she kind of lit up a little bit, like, oh, okay, this gives me something to do. That was really the look on her face to me. So Sister Sage, I think, is going to be the show's ultimate villain. Because Homelander is on the cusp of getting taken out. So I think Sage is going to be the villain. Because she's behind the scenes manipulating everybody. Ryan is being taught how to be evil. He says he wants to be a good guy. So his father is manipulating him. He's like, oh, okay, you want to be a good guy? So what do you want to do? And he's teaching him basically that he can be a good guy by being fearful, having people scared of you and using your power to intimidate them to force good things, or what you would see as good things. Sort of like Batman. Batman is not really a superhero, he's a vigilante. You rob a bank or you hurt somebody in Gotham, Batman will tip the scales back to what he considers even by hitting you in the face with a batarang, sideswiping you with his car, putting you in traction, beating you in an alley until you're unconscious with his brass knuckle laced gloves, flying down on a bat rope and kicking you in the back and probably giving you spinal damage. Throwing you in a vat of acid and making your face get all deformed so you look like a clown. He does that because that's what he thinks is justice. You hurt somebody, I'll hurt you. Didn't nobody put him in charge, but that's what he thinks. That's what Ryan is being taught. You want something, you think something is wrong, hurt somebody. You think something is wrong, beat somebody, zap somebody with your super heat vision or whatever. So he's learning that, and he's learned the lesson already that he can intimidate people to do things he wants. He's at a cusp right now where he can either become a villain or a hero. He's learning that people need to respect his power for good or bad. So we're going to see what happens with that. He actually made this woman smack this guy, and he's like, I think you should hit him. And she immediately smacked him. That surprised me because I thought she was going to be timid and be like, no, it's okay, I don't want to. But as soon as he said it, she smacked this dude so hard, I'm pretty sure, a bag with the word change fell out of the side of his ear because she smacked the change out of him. She was like, pow! And she slapped him. And then, they wasn't even telling her to keep slapping him. The camera was looking at Ryan smiling, and you could just hear, push, push, push. She slapped that dude to death, or close to it. If you've ever hit somebody with your naked hand, it hurts. You too. Especially if you slap somebody. And she just did not care. She slapped that dude 100,000 times. She just kept slapping him. The show went off. Nobody told her to stop. She's probably still there right now slapping that dude. And Ryan told him to take it. So he, it ain't like he could try to get up or something. He just got to stay there and keep getting slapped. That was terrible. There's Ashley has a boyfriend, the news anchor, and they have a weird dominatrix type relationship, and he breaks up with her, so she wants revenge, and she gets revenge by saving A-Train. A-Train tells her she needs to do something to help him, or he's going to expose her. So this guy breaks up with her, and she's upset that, she's like, you breaking up with me? With me? You must be out your, so she's upset about that. So she figures I got to help A-Train because they think that he's the leak, and this dude broke up with me, so I'm going to, I'll make him the leak. So she gets a hold of his phone somehow. I think she's got superpowers, but she gets a hold of his phone somehow, and she puts a bunch of calls, texts back and forth from him and Mother's Milk, who A-Train has actually been talking to. She put those calls and those text messages on that dude's phone. So they bring him in, and Homelander's like, look, you know what, we've been trying to be celebrities, and we've been trying to be superheroes. We're not getting the results I want. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to be gods. Wrathful gods. So they're like, all right, okay, whatever you want. So he brings a bunch of heroes together I say heroes lightly. He brings a bunch of people together with superpowers that he believes he can manipulate, and they're all down for it. And he tells them, beat that dude to death. And they're all smiling. They're like, all right. And the thing that's the worst is right before they jump on him, the Deep tells him that he has a date with that guy's because he's got a wife. He's cheating on his wife with Ashley, but he tells him that he's going to go to that guy's house and date his wife tonight. He's like, as soon as you're dead, I'm going to date your wife tonight. And he didn't say date, but you get it. And that's the last thought that guy has before he starts getting beat up. So, sucks for him. So, it's a good show, but they had a real big A-Train. All the superheroes are doing movies and TV shows and what have you. A-Train is in a movie that is clearly a racist movie. It's about a superhero. It's about a hero that is teaching a boy how to run. A-Train's a full-grown man, And Will Ferrell is the coach that's taken A-Train out of the ghetto to teach him how to run. A-Train's got superpowers. He's their version of like the Flash or Quicksilver or something like that, Johnny Quick. But Will Ferrell is teaching him how to run. And that's the story. Will Ferrell takes this little poor black kid out of the ghetto and teaches him how to be a hero without having superpowers or the ability to run himself. He's going to teach him how to do it. It's degrading. Then he starred in another movie that was clearly racist based. The Deep has a new movie coming out where there's a scene where he holds a bottle of like a fine wine. He said when they've got it made so that when white people look at it, it's a fine wine. He said, but when black people look at the screen, they see it was like Cavassier or something like that. So I was like, well, that's not right. So they're going deep into the racist stuff. But they touch in this show, they touch a lot of stuff. They touch political stuff, they touch racism, homophobia, a lot of stuff. So I mean, I'm kind of okay with that. You know, they're touching it, they're talking about it. I'm kind of okay with that. So it's interesting. But this is a good show. I'm wondering how they're gonna end this season, because they got a lot of stuff they got to tie up. Huey's dad, they gave him Compound V when he was on the cusp of dying, and he essentially became a Compound V zombie. That's in the books. He basically did that, and he gained the powers of the Vision. He could walk through walls, walk through tables, and when he walked through things, he took his clothes with him, and he could reach in your body and grab one of your body parts and pull it out. So that's terrible. So they're covering a lot of superheroes. I should do a video of all of the different superheroes and villains that are covered, that I noticed, the ones that I think I'm noticing. But The Boys is good. I like it. I really enjoyed that sheep attack. You know, they're covering a lot of ground. Stan Edgar's back. That's going to be trouble for a lot of people. It's a good show, man. It's a good show. It's so good that I would give The Boys eight bags of popcorn. 8 bags of popcorn. That's what I think about that. More importantly, what do you think about that? Now that we had a chance to look at the video, let's talk about it some more in the comments. And as always, if you like the video, if you like the content, subscribe. And then like.
Popcorn passport. Get your popcorn passport.